Thanks. It's great to be here. Thank you, Efraín. Buenas tardes. It's such an honor to be here. God, it's great to see everybody in one room. It makes it easy for all of us. And to the foundations, welcome to the Southeast. We want to see more of you here in our neck of the woods. We do love going to downtown, but it takes us a while to get there. Efraín, of course, thank you, brother, for spearheading this, and to all the sponsors and the Pat Brown Institute and the foundations. Thank you for never letting our communities down, for proving that our communities are worth it, and investing in the Southeast is really investing in the future of not only LA County, but of California. I want to start off by talking about a couple of things that Efraín mentioned, and talking about the accomplishments that we've made thus far. I'm sure our great speaker, Ricardo, tapped on a couple of these issues, but the importance of having folks in leadership positions in the state legislature really matters. And it would matter even more if we had a unified vision from our region in terms of what we wanted to see accomplished. Unfortunately, some of us have, we all have term limits, but being able to leverage the resources that we bring as Chair of Appropriations, Speaker of the Assembly, with the united community vision would really make us a very powerful community. And so as we move forward to try to kind of separate all these different issues that are important to us in the Southeast, as we know, Frank was talking about healthcare, one of the biggest issues in our community, given that we really have health deserts in our area where people lack access to healthcare. I'm proud to say that in the 5 months that we've implemented the Health for All Kids, thanks to a lot of the work of the foundation, a lot of the grantees that are out there pounding the pavement, enrolling children, in just a 5-month period from March to October, over 40,000 kids that otherwise would not have access to any type of health care now have access to full-scope medical. We're going to move forward now. We've been working with our colleagues in DC officially ask, California is asking for a federal waiver to allow undocumented folks that can pay into the system, to allow them to pay into the Affordable Care Act. It makes absolutely no sense to discriminate against this group of people. We know that our estimates show that if we are granted this waiver, which we're working with the Obama administration to do this, over 50,000 people across the state would enroll right now. And so again, allowing people to have access to issues that are critical, to allow them to not only contribute at a greater scale to our economy, to our region, but to also be able to get the resources they need to improve the lives for their own individual families. The other issue that we talked about that's now on the ballot, and can we talk politics? Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Go for it!
So, 18 years later, we have an unprecedented opportunity to finally eliminate that one-size-fits-all policy that continues to hurt our immigrant kids, and that's the English-only law in California. I actually had a debate with Ron Ans 2 weeks ago, and I sat next to him and I said, Mr. Ans, I've been waiting for 18 years to have this conversation with you. And the fact is, the data speaks for itself. Some of us that grew up under Prop 227 or actually worked to fight on the streets and organize, we felt that tinge of racism, of having people make us feel different because we speak a different language, or because we speak with an accent, even those of us that have the LA accent. It's important for us to demonstrate to our children that learning multiple languages not only makes us better human beings, but the data shows the cognitive and scientific benefits of being multilingual. We also know the economic benefits. People who are multilingual are more apt to earn higher wages. And then we also know that the data again shows that multilingual students who are in these dual language immersion programs will always outpace their monolingual counterparts when it comes to testing. The onsets of dementia and Alzheimer's are lessened if you are a multilingual or bilingual individual. This is all data that we did not know in 1998 that we could have used to defend ourselves. But to say that we are now in a position to overturn this proposition and say, once again, bring to our public schools the opportunity to create these programs in which now bilingualism should literally be the floor for our children. In this globalized economy now, I have visited schools throughout this entire state where you see kids of color now learning Mandarin, English, and Spanish all at the same time. That is the future. That is what we need to do to ensure that our kids have the resources to succeed, in particularly our children in the Southeast LA County area. And as we continue to move forward in the legislature to work together, something that is near and dear, I know, to our great speaker's heart and to something we've been working with him, partnering with him, is how do we revitalize the lower LA River? It is sad to see that in the upper part of the river, people are actually fishing and kayaking, and our river still looks like a drainage ditch. And so this is an area of opportunity for us to unite as a community and determine what is going to be the future of the lower LA River for us. Are we going to take advantage of creating recreation and park space for our communities? Are we going to ensure that it revitalizes so that it can be part of this renaissance of our community? And so that is all left for you all to determine and to come up with what the priorities are for our region. Know that the legislation that was signed this year, we created the Lower LA River Recreation and Park District. Once it's established, it'll be the first entity in the state that's sole purpose is to create park and recreation space along the Lower LA River. And representatives from the community will sit on this and determine the future of what the LA River looks like, coupled with the master plan, which is a bill that Speaker Rendon did. And so we're working cohesively in the legislature. The beauty about this gathering today is that we all now can work together as a community from all the sectors, from county government, local governments, community leaders, education leaders. And so one of the thoughts that I was thinking about, and we've kind of talked about as legislators over the years, is this issue of regionalization. The issue of allowing our communities to work together on multiple issues to not only help us leverage funds, but help us compete against the larger cities throughout the state. This is imperative that we take a look and moment to figure out what are the issues that we're willing to stand for and determine how we work as a region. And I know we have several individual city council members, but we know that regionalization saves us money for a particular region, and it allows us to be much more influential when it comes to either drawing down monies from the state and the federal government or local governments as well. And I think it's time for us to actually have, and I'm going to be a little controversial if there's anybody from LAUSD, to look at, it's time for us to revisit the issue of how we make LAUSD much more accountable to our communities in the Southeast. And that is a conversation about a potential breakup of LAUSD to make it much smaller so that our parents can actually have a greater voice in their school district. It's tough for our communities in the Southeast to have to travel to LAUSD headquarters, show an ID, make sure you prove you have an appointment to see your school board member. What kind of government is that? We need to ensure that our school boards that are determining the future of our kids, that our parents have direct access. And I know there's been efforts to do this in the past, but I think it merits us to revisit that. Again, if it becomes a priority of this region, of our community, we should follow through and allow us to determine our own future as community members in the Southeast. And so, I tend to be a little controversial these days, but that's what we need to do to get things done. If somebody would have, how many haters I had telling me that I was never going to get health care for undocumented children? You know how many people said that we weren't going to be able to get driver's license and that we were going to be able to, especially somebody from the Southeast LA County? And so I think there's so many opportunities for us. And this is why I think this gathering is so important. This cannot be the last time we get together. This has to be now the new norm of how we address issues like corruption. How do we address issues of economic development? How we address issues of the future of our children. And so we do this as a community already naturally in our own silos. It's time for us to take this more regional approach. Because quite honestly, I'll tell you, my tias and tios that live in the Southeast, you turn a corner, you're in Commerce, you make a U-turn, you're in Maywood, you make a right, you're in Cudahy. For us, we're all the Southeast.
That's right.
You know, we're all in this together. And I'll tell you, and I'm sure the speaker can attest to this too, when we as elected officials go before agencies in the state asking for money, the first thing they bring out are those LA Times articles on every one of our cities. I've been here way too long as a field rep, over 15 years now, to demonstrate that in every one of our cities we've had conflict. And to look beyond our own city and our own silo, and look at the impact that that is having as a region for our community. When you don't spend the monies that you get from the state to build a park, that hurts the entire region. When we continue to have discord and continue to try to what is the issue? I'm like totally blanking out because I have it in Spanish. Pero quieren sacar the new leaders of a city council when they, you know, a recall. When you try to keep on recalling because you're not happy of the election, that hurts us. You know, so and you might agree or might not agree, but the fact is that all of these issues impact the resources that we are trying to bring to the region. I'm assuming it's the same thing at the federal level, and the same thing when 5 county board of supervisors are fighting for their piece of the pie. And so this is why working together, this is why working with our foundations to determine what are the key issues that we should bring up as a community are important. This is such a beautiful mosaic of all of us in the Southeast. And maybe there's some folks that want to keep us in silos. Maybe there are some folks that want to make sure that we continue to fight amongst each other. And, you know, it's all fair game in elections. But when people win, let's try to make sure we all work together. Because it's beyond our cities. It's beyond our individual jurisdiction. All that hurts all of us as a region. And I've seen it happen in all the cities throughout the Southeast. But this is a new opportunity for us. I'm so invigorated and feel so hopeful seeing such a great room of folks here that are committed to our region. Because the fact of the matter is that nobody can deny that the Southeast is home to some of the most hardworking, blue-collar families that contribute to fight every day con el sudor de su frente para salir adelante like any other city. We are resilient. If you cannot think about all the drama and all the stuff that we've been through as a community, we are resilient. Because guess what? Our kids are getting into college. Not at the levels that they should be, but we should create incentives so that they can come back. Buy a home in the Southeast, like many of our young city council members are doing now and school board members. Come back and reinvest in our community. This shouldn't be a place where you're born, you're raised, and you leave and never come back. This should be a place where you come back, you contribute, and you are part of the fabric of our society. That's what makes us who we are in the Southeast. And so I didn't mean to lecture, but I feel so like I'm feeling nostalgic, and I feel good that we're all here. And so all I say is that in the Senate, you have a tireless advocate that will continue to push the envelope. We're going to continue to raise the issues that are not popular, raise the issues of fairness and injustice. And just as we get to benefit from having the most important transportation corridor in the country, where 40% of all the goods that come in through the Pacific Rim come through our region, how do our communities benefit? How do we reap the rewards of that too? And just because we continue to be such an economic engine, that our communities still have to face asthma, cancer clusters. And so there's ongoing research about connecting disabilities in our community to our current air pollution and environmental justice issues that we have, which I think is a very important idea to do. We need to see if there's a connection of what's happening with our children and the pollution. So we move forward with an environmental agenda. I don't like to just say environmental justice because I think that pigeonholes us. Our environmental agenda is our environmental agenda, should be everybody's environmental agenda. And so being able now for the first time to say that we're gonna cut reductions in carbon, methane, and F gases, that directly affects the well-being of our seniors and our children in this area. So we will continue to do the big fight, continue to fight the big fight, but this should not be the last time we get together. This should be something that we do on a regular basis, where we come together as a community and discuss the big issues that are important to us. Without our, Baywood hat, without our Bell Gardens hat, without our Downey hat, without our Bell hat, and come together as a region and figure out what we want as a goal. What do we want in our community? And fight together. This is the way we leverage resources at the state and federal level. This is how we prove to the rest of the county and the state that we are a new and improved region that is going to work together for the betterment of everyone in this community. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to represent you all in the state Senate. I hope I can continue to count on your support. And as we move forward, we move together as a community.